You guys really seem to enjoy whenever I make these gaming hot takes videos. So today, we are doing part 3. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what a hot take is, a hot take is essentially an unpopular opinion. Now, I tried to find the best ones I possibly can. I think that some of you guys might not understand the meaning of a hot take, because a lot of you will just put something like, oh, the Batmobile was overused in Batman Arkham Knight. Because that's not a hot take whatsoever, right? So, I tried to find the best ones I could possibly find. And guys, if you want your hot takes, put in a video, make sure to drop it down in the comments, or I'll put something on the community tab that says drop your gaming hot takes. It doesn't have to be Batman Arkham related. I said it in every single video just so you guys are fully well aware of it. So, without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into this. And if you guys enjoy, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video and make sure to subscribe for more content. The first hot take I have comes to us from Zamboni Jones 350. And he says the Batmobile is awesome in Arkham Knight. Now, I wanted to get this one out of the way first, just because these types of hot takes are very common in the comment section, so I'm starting to think it's not as much of a hot take anymore. But, yes, I do think it's an awesome little device in Batman Arkham Knight. I do think it's a fantastic vehicle. The combat's extremely fluid, in my opinion. I think it's very good. But nobody really complains about how the Batmobile functions in Batman Arkham Knight. It's more how often it's used, but it's not overused. Not in my opinion, at least, so yeah. Our next hot take comes to us from _N8 the Great. So I'm assuming Nathan the Great. _63 says, GTA is a mid-series. There, I said it. Man, a lot of people are going to be coming at you now. But I really do like the campaign of GTA 5 specifically. I never really got into the other GTA games simply because I was too young to ever get into those games in the first place. And nowadays, I think those games graphically probably don't hold up as well as the ones I'm currently playing. So it's probably harder for me to go back and actually enjoy it the same way like when you guys were kids. But I will say, GTA is a good series. I think it's just gotten oversaturated with the online gameplay aspect, with all the money that goes into it, with the shark cards and everything. Rockstar's kind of gotten at least a little bit greedy with trying to make more and more money off that game. And at this point, GTA is just getting milked for more money before GTA 6 gets released. If GTA 5 wasn't making money anymore, GTA 6 would have come out already. That's what I personally think. And I think that's what a lot of other people believe as well. Is it a mid-series? No, it's a fantastic game. There's so much you can do. There's a lot of cool stuff in that game. The campaign of GTA 5, in my opinion, was absolutely awesome. And I know that's not even most people's favorite GTA. I believe that most people's favorite is either San Andreas or GTA 4, but I never played the campaign for those games, so I can't really confirm or deny that. But what I will say is, when I have played GTA, whether it's the campaign or if I'm just going on there just to shoot people, I think it's a very fun game. Our next hot take comes to us from Zari F2-OJ9CM, and he has two hot takes here. Which the first one is, Marvel Spider-Man is a better game than Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, I do have a confession to make, guys. I've never played Spider-Man 2. And I know that game's not that old, so it's not really that big of a deal I haven't played it. The simple reason why I haven't played it is, I don't have a PlayStation, and it is not available on PC, so I haven't been able to play it yet, unfortunately. However, I do hope either A, maybe I'll get a PS5 at some point, but if that doesn't happen, then I'll probably have to wait till eventually it comes out on PC, because I hope eventually it does, because I would love to play that game. So I can't comment on that. All I can tell you is Marvel Spider-Man is a fantastic game. I love the traversal. The combat's really good in that game. The story's really good. I really do like that game, so I can't wait to play it again. Maybe on the second channel I'll do a Let's Play, or maybe I'll live stream on here or something. As for your next one, you say Batman Arkham Knight is objectively the worst Arkham game. It has the highest of highs of the series, but also the lowest of the lows. You can't really say there is much wrong with any other Arkham game of the franchise, unlike Arkham Knight. I don't think you can say that Arkham Knight is objectively the worst, because I think that's all subjective. What I will say is, I do think Arkham Asylum is definitely the worst of the series. Due to multiple different factors, whether it's, very limited world, or no side missions really besides Riddler trophies. Combat's the worst of the franchise by far. There's just not as much going for that game compared to something like Batman Arkham Knight. As well as the DCs and the DLCs, in that game aren't as good as something like Batman Arkham Knight. So in my opinion, I do disagree with you, but you know what? Your opinion is your opinion, and I respect it. The next comment comes to us from Damian Howard TV, and he says the Arkham games are vastly overrated. Whether it's regular games or Batman games. Good games? Yes. They're just incredibly overhyped and overpraised, and not the godly games that people think they are. Well, I don't think that people think that they're godly games, because yes, if that's the case, then I would agree with you, they are extremely overrated in that case. However, these are fantastic games. And the thing is, I don't think you could say that they're overrated until we get, a better Batman game than what we currently have. Whether you think that, this game is better than Spider-Man or not is up to you. But this and Spider-Man are the best superhero games we have by far, and it's not even really that close, especially when you talk about the combat system. So when you talk about overrated, I kind of have to see another, superhero game in order to really fully agree with your opinion. I understand that, there might be certain aspects of these games that could be extremely overrated. For example, the story mode. A lot of people, will praise these stories like they're the perfect things, when the reality is they're not perfect at all. Not one of these games have a perfect story. However, does that mean they're overrated? No, but every game does have overrated aspects. So I won't say they're overrated as a whole, but I could definitely see the point you're trying to get at here. And there also was a response to that guy's hot take from BugPlanet8840. And he said, I somewhat agree, especially with how overrated Arkham City is, when it's a 2 out of 10 game at best. Oh boy, people are going to be at you in the comments for that one. None of the Batman Arkham games are a 2 out of 10. At least not in my opinion. I don't think anyone else will rate at most of the Arkham games a 2 out of 10 either. Not even Batman Arkham Asylum, which I've stated multiple times in my opinion is the worst. Pretty much by far, because the other games improved every single aspect. And even that game is not a 2 out of 10. So I think that people are definitely going to be coming at you for that one. The next hot take comes to us from UnkindBlade378. And he says, I have the best idea for Batman Arkham Shadow. I have a perfect villain twist. The Joker. After he has Batman in a hold, he's going to reveal himself as the Rat King. And there was a response that said, I would end myself, and I'm not even getting the game. Guys, please, no Joker in this freaking game. Is it going to happen? Probably. But I'll tell you what, I'm willing to come up with a compromise, because I would love to have the Joker in this game in some capacity. Not as that capacity, but, something else. I think that you should make it a DLC, so that if you want the chance to take on the Joker, then you could pay for, extra DLC. Kind of like with the Arkham episodes in Batman Arkham Knight, or something similar to Cold Cold Heart or Harley Quinn's Revenge or whatever. That way, it's optional and you're not forced to play up against the Joker. I think that's a fair compromise. Our next hot take comes to us from DJB9267. And he says, Arkham Batman is a terrible but fun version of the character. And I really wish you went into detail as to why you think this, because then at least I can have something to talk about here. But whenever people say that, this Batman is a terrible version of the character, they usually will refer to something like Batman the Animated Series, like the Adam Smith did in his video. And honestly, I don't understand why people are comparing those two versions of the character, because that is a kids' TV show. It's a completely different thing. He has to be nicer for the sake of kids' TV. Now, maybe you're not going to that specifically, but I just wish that you explained why. But I think this version of Batman's fantastic. He's not too dissimilar compared to any movie version of Batman that I've seen. If you want to talk about a terrible version of Batman, I forget the author's name who did this, but there was an author who wrote the Batman comics where Batman had guns and stuff. That's a terrible version of the character, because it's not even close to realistic to what Batman's about. This is realistic to what Batman's about. There's nothing here that screams oh, this Batman's so unrealistic, he could never do this. And the only thing I could think of as to why you might think this is because of the fact that he pushes aside Batman, or not Batman, excuse me, the fact he pushes aside Robin and Nightwing and treats them like trash, which I know other iterations will use Robin and Nightwing. But this is also a Batman video game, and I don't think people want to be forced to, have a partner to use. So that's the only thing I could think of. But I maybe drop why in the comments, and maybe we could talk about it. We have two more for this video, and this one here states from Tony Adobe 1904. The bosses of Arkham Origins are overrated, and Arkham City has the best bosses. I can agree to some extent that the Arkham Origins boss battles are extremely overrated. Not extremely necessary, excuse me, but I do think that they are overrated. However, that game was based around bosses. That's why I say it's overrated for bosses. The boss fights in that game are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, they are fantastic. I really like Bane's. Deathstroke, of course, has one of the best bosses in the entire series, especially considering that was hand-to-hand combat, which it's hard to build a good boss around that without having to include a bunch of different gadgets and such, but this game found a way to do that. I think that this game had some very good bosses. However, I will say that they are overrated, and Arkham City does have good bosses. In fact, I'd probably say that their boss battles are underrated, specifically the Clayface one. But, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Freeze, those are also amazing bosses. So I kind of will meet you in the middle here. I will agree that they're overrated, but I still think Origins has the best boss battles, in my opinion. Just because there's more of them. Now, more doesn't necessarily mean better, but the fact that there's more good ones means, in my opinion, that I think that it's just better. And our final hot take of the video comes to us from Helpy2. And he states Batman Arkham Asylum is better than Origins and City. It's comical and funny. Harley's VA change was pretty bad. Asylum had better atmosphere and overall a 10 out of 10 game. Now, I can't say that it's better than Origins and City. Origins and City clears, especially in terms of combat and the overall world building. It's more open world designed. And yes, Arkham Asylum is open world, but the world's just not big enough for it to be really open world. Even though I do praise the fact that the map's smaller, it is something good to switch it up. However, it's not as good as Origins and City, not in my opinion, and the traversal's also not as good. But Asylum did have a very good atmosphere, a very unique atmosphere. I would say that that's the word I would use. I wouldn't necessarily say it's better, even though it might be. But when I just think of it off the top of my head, I think of it more as unique in terms of, just the creepy, aura that you feel in the air. Arkham Asylum is a very good game, but it's not the best game by any means. And like I've said a couple times already, I actually think it's the worst. And these are your guys' gaming hot takes. If you guys have a hot take that you want put in a video, make sure you guys drop it in the comments below. Or like I said at the start of the video, I'll put up a community tab thing for you guys so that you guys can drop your hot takes. So make sure you drop your hot takes down in the comments. I just want to give a big shout out to those of you who do support this channel. I do very much appreciate every single one of you. And if you want to become a member today, click the join button right underneath this video. That does entail shout outs at the end of each video, early access to new videos, as well as your own personal videos that nobody else gets access to besides you. So if you want to join, make sure to click the join button today. As well as if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe for more content, and as always, thank you so much for everything, guys. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you all have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!